Well, joining me now from Tel Aviv is journalist Haggai Matar. Haggai, thank you for making time for us at this terrible time, terrible few days there in Israel. The latest we're hearing is that Hamas's armed wing, the Al-Qassam Brigade, has warned that they will execute an Israeli hostage for every unpre-warned airstrike on Gaza. Please let us know your response to that news.
I have to start by saying these are dreadful, painful days. The attack by Hamas has just left us all in shock and dread, with so many people killed. We've not had such a lethal attack on Israeli soil since 1948. And I think we're all feeling defenseless in the face of this really hideous war crime. And now with threats of executing those captives, people who were, some of them children, some elderly, people who were at a festival, as well as soldiers and police officers. It's just terrifying to think of, and I do pray for everyone's safe return.
You mentioned obviously there has been plenty of conflict for decades around Israel, around Gaza, and yet still the scale of the attack that happened on Saturday is absolutely extraordinary and absolutely horrifying. In terms of the concerns of most Israelis now, what will they be?
I think, again, Israelis feel in shock. There's a feeling that we had believed to be the superior power regionally, with this incredible army known throughout the world. And then we're facing Hamas, which is an armed, small group with no support, almost no support internationally. For them to be able to carry out such an attack is truly incredible. So people are angry, they're bewildered. Many are demanding revenge, but at the same time are very concerned about the well-being of those people who have been abducted. So the will is to make sure that they come home safe, but at the same time, people are calling to flatten Gaza. There are calls for even genocide, saying, we have to take the gloves off, as some people have been saying, and attack Gaza, which I think is, in itself a war crime and a very dangerous path to walk down.
I mean, it almost feels like a moot point asking this, given the scale of what we're talking about here. But how far back has this attack set political negotiations that have been happening for decades? Plenty of people saying about Hamas, wherein does this lie? The rights for Palestinian people in the region as well. But in terms of any types of negotiation, when you talk about flattening land there, what worries you about how far back things have been set?
Well, I think we need to remember that actual negotiations between Israel and the Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO, have collapsed almost a decade ago. There have not been any negotiations for 10 years. And it's both the PLO and Hamas have been trying, and other Palestinian forces have been trying to reopen negotiations with Israel, have been trying to gain international support for the plight of Palestinians who are suffering from the war crimes that Israel has committed against them throughout the years, from the crime of apartheid and the siege on Gaza and the occupation and the military rule in the West Bank. All that reality has gone unchecked and has been supported de facto by Western powers such as the UK, such as the US, that have facilitated Israeli aggression against Palestinians all these years, without even demanding Israel to go back into negotiations in any way. So when you're asking about a setback, there's nothing to set back from. We're just in this very, very dire situations where Palestinians have been made victims throughout all these years, and now Israelis are feeling much of that pain as well. But without negotiations, without renewing the vision and possibility of a peaceful agreement, we will just be stuck in this very painful and bleeding reality for the foreseeable future.
Haggai Matar joining us from Tel Aviv. Thank you.